Welcome to the second of our trial evening services. This is our third Thursday of worship, and my name is Chelsea Krafka. I'm the Director of Education here at the church. My job is typically working with small children, and this is one of my first times planning a worship service that's not for all ages specifically. Thank you for being here. If you take a moment, please silence your cell phones so we can enter into the spirit of worship. This service was inspired by a workshop which I attended at General Assembly. General Assembly is a conference that happens yearly and is a gathering of many Unitarian Universalists. By happenstance, I decided to sit in on a Unitarian Universalist mystics gathering, as I simply wanted to know more about what UU mystics were all about. Megan was there with me. They asked a similar question to the group, which I will be posing to all of you in a little while, but their workshop was done in quite a different fashion. I love when people can share with one another in a worshipful setting. When I was a youth in high school, I used to help plan church conferences for high schoolers, and the worship aspect was my favorite part. This service is a culmination of ideas. Something that resonated with me over the years is how incredibly moving it is when we can hear from one another. I think this brings us closer in community. The theme for this service is wonder and awe. And during our time together, I'm hoping that you will be thinking about a time in your life when you experienced something beyond what you could possibly explain. A moment that opened your eyes in ways you had never known before. A moment when you felt joy, beauty, and extreme amazement with your experience. I will now invite Jennifer Leonard to welcome us into the spirit of worship with our prelude.
We light our chalice today with these words from Juliana Leff. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deepest questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to the unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths.
We don't often use the word miracle at the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. We speak of wonder and awe, though. Walt Whitman, in his poem Miracles, builds a bridge that may help us see that miracles need not be supernatural, that we can find awe and wonder in the ordinary. This poem is written in a style called a litany, which is just a list, a listing. You can think of this as a series of images, or memories, or whatever works best for you. Miracles. Why, who makes much of a miracle? As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Whether I walk the streets of Manhattan, or dart my sight over the roofs of houses toward the sky, or wade with naked feet along the beach, just on the edge of water, or stand under trees in the woods, or talk by day with anyone I love, or sleep in the bed at night with anyone I love, or sit at a table at dinner with the rest, or look at strangers opposite me riding in the car, or watch honeybees busy around the hive of a summer forenoon, or animals feeding in the fields, or birds, or the wonderfulness of insects in the air, or the wonderfulness of the sundown, or of stars shining so quiet and bright, or the exquisite, delicate, thin curve of the new moon in spring. These, with the rest, one and all, are to me miracles, the whole referring, yet each distinct in its place. To me, every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same. To me, the sea is a continual miracle. The fishes that swim, the rocks, the motion of the waves, the ships with men in them. What stranger miracles are there? These miracles of Whitman's may have filled you, or they may have guided your thoughts to a memory, a sensation, a place, or a time. What in your life has inspired this kind of awe and wonder? Think about this for a time, right now.
In a moment, we will begin by sharing with one another in the circle with people starting to my left. You will have the opportunity to either share or to pass if you feel inclined simply to listen this evening. As you speak or after you speak, or even if you decide to pass, please take a little bit of sand from one of these jars and pour it into the bowl here in the center. We're going to pass the cart around the circle. Please do not pour a ton of sand, because we want for there to be enough to go around, but the equivalent to a few tablespoons should suffice. A short chime will sound after each person has shared to give us a moment to breathe together. In an effort to give everyone a chance to speak and still keep our service to a minimum time frame, we ask that each person speak simply a few words or sentences. And we will now demonstrate this for you. Again, you're thinking about a moment that you've had of wonder and awe in your life.
Hello again. I also attended the UU Mystics group at General Assembly. I was someone who just sat in that space and didn't share at that time, but it was a really incredible experience to be in a space with so many other people who were sharing these incredible and profound moments in their life. So I'm excited to share that with you all this evening.
As I thought about this question, I realized that my moment of awe and wonder is something that happens in this place. The tender gestures and glances I view when I sit near the back of the church during the service, many Sundays.
I try to capture little moments of wonder and awe with the photography that I do. It's my spiritual practice, being out in nature. And I love little things like how dragonfly lands perfectly on a lotus flower, or finding little water drops on a lily.
To give us more time to think, I will invite Jennifer to enchant us with more sounds. If you'll now take a deep breath and join in listening to more music by Jennifer.
It is now your turn to share with everyone present, if you feel so inclined. What is a moment of wonder and awe which you have experienced? Again, please share a brief experience, just a few words or sentences, or you may pass, and pour a small amount of sand into our communal vase. Wait for the chime between speakers. We'll start at this end of there.
Well, I love sunrises and sunsets and full moons. And so I was on a dusty road coming over a hill, saw the most gorgeous sunset. And so I just remember that one.
I shall pass.
For me, it was being present when my granddaughter was born.
I would say sitting outside yesterday in the warmth and hearing the gentle breeze in the trees, especially after Sunday.
In order to help myself through a difficult time, I came up with the belief that regardless of how unsure I am, if spirals are showing up a whole bunch and I'm seeing them around, then I'm on the right path. And the day that he came over and I was going to tell him I wanted us to explore our connection, he was wearing a shirt with a spiral he had painted on it, a hoodie with a spiral he had painted on it over that, and he goes, "Here, I made this for you." And it was a picture he had drawn of a huge, beautiful spiral.
Mine's kind of a short story. I was picking up trash for a landscaping job, and I was just kind of overcome with grief of how much litter and trash was on the ground, and I kind of like took a kneel and kind of reached out to the earth and gave my like sorrow and sadness and apologized for how we had been mistreating her. And there was a voice in my head that was clear as day, and it just kind of said, love yourself unconditionally and love everyone else the same way. And I didn't really know how to respond, so I was like, is that all? And just you repeated the message, and you know, like, love yourself unconditionally and love yourself the same way. And it was a female voice, so I thought it was like Gaia or Mother Earth, but now that I've come a little farther, I could see that it could be a guide or angel or, you know, any other sort of being. But yeah.
The music today is simply wonderful. Thank you so much. My whole body tingles. So thank you very much. So yes, wonderful.
I'm gonna pack.
I always have a sense of awe and wonder at the first snowfall of the year. And Sunday was no different. And also a sense of wonder and awe at how quickly it changes again.
Well, this is reaching back, but when my 3 children were born, in the first moments, the quiet moments with them through their early years, it was very special.
There's various places of nature. The one that always stands out is the Grand Canyon. Just to walk up to the edge and look over just fills me with awe and wonder, and then to walk down into it and sit and just enjoy and breathe and be there.
Mine happened this summer while I was riding my bicycle through Wyoming, and just cresting the top of a mountain and looking out at the scenery around me was really beautiful.
We're supposed to say the most miraculous experience, and I guess they don't all have to be wonderful to be amazing, but when I was 17, my twin brother told me that he was going to run away the mountains, and he had a suitcase, and he had like 8 rolls of toilet paper and 50 forks and no spoons or knives, and so I spent like a half an hour getting him all the right stuff that he needed to run away to the mountains. He said he wanted to go to the mountains, and then he told me to go in my room and that he had a surprise for me. So I left his room and went into my room and sat down, and I started thinking like what he was going to give me. I didn't know if it was going to be a stereo or his bong or his Beatle albums, or but just as I was waiting for him to come into my room, this voice that was really clear said, "He's going to try to kill you." And so I got up, I went into his bedroom, and at that moment he was on his hands and knees, and he pulled out a rifle from under the bed, and I told him to give it to me, and he just handed it to me, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said that God told him that I had to be eliminated, that I was the devil in the family. And turned out later, after a lot of testing, that he was schizophrenic. But the miraculous part of the whole story didn't really hit me until later. It was, what was that voice? Why did I hear it? And I think it saved my life, because if I had just stayed there, he would have walked into that room, and, so that was pretty amazing. Miracle, yes.
Playing together in a string quartet when the music weaves and blends and makes a beautiful thing out of the contributions of each of the persons participating.
Seeing Joanna nursing our firstborn.
Say, watching my daughter fall asleep on Oscar's shoulder.
I could easily mirror that, but the day after the day I was ordained.
Well, I think this is all pretty wonderful. I think probably one of the most exciting moments I experienced was when I got my first pair of contact lenses, and all of a sudden could see colors I'd never seen in my life before, and edges and a clarity, but the colors just overwhelmed me, and it stayed with me ever since.
Hiking through Glacier National Park on a recent vacation.
I would have to say anytime there's a really nice rainfall, fresh wet grass, it's cut and just the smells.
Mine was a recent trip to California and camping on the ocean, and I'm not a morning person, but for some reason I woke up before any of the other 100 campsites and got to walk the morning on the beach and by myself. Everyone was sleeping, and watching so many dolphins and all the animals eating, and realizing that there was this whole world going on while we all were literally sleeping. And I got to be part of it, and it was beautiful. I could have been there forever.
I thought I was going to say, I thought I was going to say it was this evening between 5 and 6 when I walked to the library and saw the colors and had to stop and take pictures of the trees. But now I think it was some of the sharing that I've heard tonight.
Following my mother's funeral a number of years ago, my two sisters and I stepped out of the motel we were staying in to go out to dinner. And in the sky, which was a clear, cloudless Arizona sky, there was a big rainbow.
When my son was a small baby, he was up late crying one night, and I was walking around the house. And for a brief minute, I felt connected to all the tired women around the world who were doing the same thing.
I've spent a lot of time in the Mojave Desert in the Sonora and Baja California, and it
battery? No, it's showing it. You have plenty. Oh, it just quit though.
And it inspires me that everything there in this hostile environment has so many creative ways to stay alive.
Recently we were in Colorado and drove up over a hill in Rocky Mountain National Park in the morning bright blue sky, bright, brilliant yellow aspen, and it was just a glorious moment in time.
I would say that pregnancy and childbirth was full of awe and wonder.
In 1992, I participated in something that I remember now as being in something that was awesome and wonderful. And so I just participated in part of it, and it was called, the entire thing was the Walk Across America for Mother Earth. And there was people that started on the East Coast and walked to, well, I joined it in Las Vegas, and there were actually people there from Europe who participated, and one reason the Las Vegas was part of it that I joined up with, that we was going to the test site where they tested nuclear weapons underground, and so a big part of that was protesting that, and part of the issue was the history of the land being, the Native Americans, and there's still some Native American people there that was there, the Shoshone tribe, and they were partly kind of our hosts, and so all these issues are kind of coming together at that time, and part of it, what are we doing to the earth, and that whole moment of 500 years since 1492 Columbus arriving, and nuclear weapons testing, and they were pretty. So that was pretty memorable time, and I protested or participated in this walk. So we walked from Las Vegas to I think maybe in 50 miles. So it was all kind of like walking to Omaha maybe, or something like that, in the middle of the desert. So I can just mention the desert like other people in the nature. So anyway, that was mine. Let's see here.
In the 80s, we went to Slovakia, and we wanted to try to find family. We had old correspondence with an address on it and a family photo. And so we asked the bus driver to take us to this town, and we found a woman, and she took us to her home. And she went in the back and then brought out the exact same photo. And so we knew that we had found our people.
There's this class at the Y called Mixed Fit. I don't know if anybody's been to it. It is ridiculous. It's like Zumba, but with rock and roll or like rap music. And every time I go, I can't sleep because I'm like so happy that I just dancing.
Being asked by a friend to be a helper to take care of her mother's body and clean it and dress it after her mother had died.
Today, this afternoon, while walking, I looked up into the blue sky and I noticed these flashes of white. I looked more closely and I realized it was seabirds, terns or something flying, and it was their white underbelly. It was just very nice, special.
About 10 years ago, I joined a gym for my health and fitness, and after a significant period of time, I was standing in the gym shower, and I just noticed I had muscle. That wasn't my goal, but that's something that just caught me off guard. I was just there all alone in that moment.
Having the joy at work of being able to observe the incredible detail of plants and insects under the microscope.
For me, it would be the ability to create and sustain and give birth to life when I didn't think it was possible, and then watching that life grow and thrive.
Thank you all for sharing these incredible moments with us. May these moments of wonder and awe and light be with you in times of darkness. If after the service you feel like you had something that you wanted to share but kept in your heart instead, you're welcome to come and in the memory of that symbolically pour some more sand into our bowl. As we join in shared reflection, let us now hear more music from our guest, Jennifer.
closing reading is after Rachel Naomi Remen from My Grandfather's Blessings. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. All that we call holy fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when Spirit, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the blaze of miracle burns unconsumed, and we will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it.
As we conclude the worship service this evening, I leave you with these parting words by Jennifer Leota Gray. Universal mystery, guide us away from the desire to shine light in all the corners. Teach us to embrace the night, for without the darkness, we never see the stars. And as we hear our last song from Jennifer, I invite the ushers to pass on our offering.